What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, everybody?
Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jesse Martin.
The Cowboys are finished. You understand me?
John Taman.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Scott Hartley.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
And occasionally, Keith Gray.
So many social engagements, so little time.
And now, your host, John Taman.
Hey, that's me. I'm John Taman. Hey, that was me saying, this is John Taman. Hey, it's John Taman all over the place. It's the John Taman Show. Welcome to John Taman Monday. All right, we do have an absolute special guest, and I'm not going to use the same joke I used last week because Keith is here now for 2 weeks in a row, which I do believe we should be alerting the Guinness people soon. Just in case, get the hotline going. But Disco, my friend Disco, our friend Tisco from Twitter, dude, you are like the only Commanders fan without a podcast. How did that happen?
Hey, man, I'm a nomad. I just travel from podcast to podcast. I've been thinking about it though.
I got to give it to you, man. That is some solid resistance right there. Because really, you know, as soon as I became a Commanders fan, you know, they sent me all those sultry memes and everything. Hey, well, podcast.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here.
Well, good. I'm happy to be here too. Although I must say that when they sent me the sultry memes, they didn't have to send me any nudes of Keith, and I'm thank God they didn't. But anyway,
no, he sends them himself on Twitter. So
yeah. Well, to either side of me right here is my friend Jesse and my friend Scott. How are you boys doing today?
I'm doing great, but I will say I've been going down the rabbit hole, and ever since they made an arrest in the Tupac Shakur killing, I've been trying to solve the Christopher Biggie Smalls Wallace. Who shot him? And y'all think that I'm playing? I am not. I have been diving deep in this ever since then. I've probably read 400 articles on this thing. I seriously, I've been going deep. I'm watching City of Lies. I've watched Unsolved twice to try to catch any. Yeah, man, I've been going deep in the rabbit hole.
This is what happens when there's a 2-game losing streak.
Right.
You find out your interest. What's up with you, Scott?
Not a lot, really. Yeah.
No murders to solve. Come on.
No murders to solve. There's been a new sapling with my cut down tree. Someone's put a new sapling from the sycamore outside, so we'll have to wait 150 years for it to grow. But at least it's there, and they're going to make a bench, as I suggested, out of the wood. So I'm quite pleased.
150 years. That's about how long we're expecting Keith's next contract to be written for.
Yeah,
we got to nail this man down. What's going on with you, man?
Same old, man. Different day. Fall season means kids sports galore, so that's where my time's been going.
I hear you. And down here to my, I don't know. I can't ever tell left from right from these things. But there's Disco down there. What's up, man?
What's up, fellas? How you doing, man? I wish it was a victory Monday, but
yeah, we take them as they can get them.
We fought, but we should have won.
All right. So we'll start right there with you. 2-point conversion or go for the tie and play for overtime. What would you have done? Put you right on the spot. How about that?
You know what? I like the decision to kick the field goal. I know you're going to have people on both sides of the aisle. I mean, I think we were an inch or a centimeter toe away from a Terry McLaurin catch to put us in a position to score. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I didn't have a problem with the decision.
Keith, what about you? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah,
what did the wife say about it? That's what I want to know.
Well, let's not discuss that. Wife and I, we didn't have a good day together yesterday, so we watched the game in separate rooms.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't talk much about it. But anyways, thanks for bringing up the bad shit, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't have to bring it up. You could have just
Come on, man. I'm going through some, marital, and you just want to bring it out on the podcast.
I didn't realize that was what I was doing. So, hey, man, what did you think of the decision to go for one?
So I don't really ever get mad if we do or don't, right? Because I'm looking at the situation. If I were coach, I would have went for 2. And the reason why I would have went with 2 because I'm a stupid fan and I love Brian Robinson. And every time Brian Robinson touches that ball, he drags 2 defenders for at least 2 yards. So that's the move I would have made. However, that doesn't mean it's the right move. It doesn't mean that move would have gotten in. It doesn't mean we would have won the game. So with us not going for the 2-point conversion, I was okay with that too. I was okay with taking it into overtime. The only thing that made me nervous is if we didn't go for 2 and we didn't get the ball to start in overtime, then I really thought that Philly was going to just put us in the ground from there. To my surprise, obviously, we got the ball and we just couldn't get it done.
Well, I will say this. Disco, you're an educator, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, he just said went for 2, and I heard that, and I know Disco heard that too. That is a very improper phrase, sir. And while we have an educator here on this program, I'm going to ask you to clean up your grammar. All right, Jesse, what about you? 2 or 1?
I thought it was the right decision to kick the field goal. There's multiple aspects to this, and even Ron said it afterwards. The players said it in the locker rooms afterwards to reporters. They were gassed. They just went in the length of the field in a minute and 30 seconds. You have probably the absolute best defensive line you're going up against on the field that can rotate fresh, clean players or fresher players in to stop the run. Listen, this season we have had issues in short yardage situations. We've had issues so much so is that we tried the Logan Thomas sneak twice, which the second time was ridiculous.
That was
super stupid. And as soon as they saw him get underneath the snap, they knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. So that sits there and tells me that they do not have faith in short yardage situations on this team, and I don't blame them whatsoever. It was the right call. It was a smart call. You play for overtime. Give your offense a little break, a little breather, because they had their hands on their hips. They were huffing and puffing, and a lot of people said it was a 50-50 a chance of making the 2-point. I don't think so. I think it was more like a 25-75% chance of making that 2-point conversion.
Scott, what about you? I might as well. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I reckon it was the correct decision for me. And at the time, I mean, I can completely remember even him being overwhelmed and screaming and shouting at the TV, just saying, "Go, just take the one, just take the one, please take the one, please take the one." And he did. And I thought it was the right decision at the time. Obviously, on our post-game pod, I thought it was the right decision then. I still, cold light a day, look at this back and think, right decision again, purely because, yes, we had the momentum to move forward, but as Jesse said, he's kind of nailed the point there. You're going up against what is probably one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. You've got that swing and that time to come back and decompress a little bit and think to yourself, right, I can decompress here. I should be able to make it further up the field and kick that field goal. Unfortunately, we just got stopped, and it was one of them things where we couldn't get it done, and that's just part and parcel. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, as Disco said. He's absolutely right, but in my opinion, it's the correct decision. Just imagine, I know it's only 1% of the fan base, but imagine the world of Twitter this morning if Ron had gone for 2 and Sam Howell had overthrown it out the
meltdown.
I don't think that there was a right or wrong answer to this. And I think that I do think though that even though people kind of were on Ron's head about saying that the guys were gassed, when you put it in perspective of how far they drove the ball down the field, and you're talking Philly's defense in such a short amount of time, it makes sense, and that's why I wasn't mad at it at that point, because look, we're taking it to overtime. It is what it is. We didn't, we beat ourselves in overtime.
We scored with no time left on the clock, right? We when
right. 1 second. Yeah, 1 second.
I think we need to take a moment to appreciate the beauty of that 2 minute. The beauty of that 2 minutes. I think that's what's missed in this entire, 2-point conversion.
That touchdown throw.
Yeah,
that throw alone, there were so many defenders around him, and he just threaded it right in there.
You've got a kid that threw 4 picks the week before, 5th start on the road against the defending NFC champion, and he took the ball right down the field and made some clutch throws and clutch runs. I don't think that's I mean, yeah, 2-point conversion, that's not appreciated enough. And like I said, I was sold on how after that, I'm like, this might be our dude.
You know, I really did like his game as well. And I also think that when it comes to that short yardage, and yeah, they did. Wow, what the hell are you doing putting Thomas up there twice? Everybody in the stadium yelled in plenty of time because they waited like another count to go ahead and snap it to him. So you know what you do? If you're gonna be cute, you run Thomas up and line him up behind the guard. The guard gets a thrill out of it. The defense doesn't know what happens real quick, and boom, then you run, then you go, right? You snap the ball and then you go, or you bring. I almost called him Heineke. Oh my God! Bring Sam up there.
Mute him.
No, it's not even that. It's just I'm so used to our short yardage problems being so easily fixed. But you know, bring him up under center and let Hal do the tush push, for Christ's sakes. That dude's tough, man, and he can slither through there. I don't know what you're worried about if you're going to do it. If it's short yardage, whatever. I did think that taking the 1 point and playing for overtime was the smart thing to do. Aside from the fact that even though at the time I didn't know that they were coming over the sidelines and saying that they were gassed, I just think it was the smart thing to do. You had momentum, but at the same time, you don't want to kill yourself. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. And that's exactly what that would have done if they didn't make it. If they didn't make it, my God.
Game over. Well,
yeah, of course, game over. There's no time left on the clock. But you're right. Not just the calls from the Twitterverse of the the twerps out there yelling, but the media, the twerps in the media would be yelling. I mean, so yeah, I could call our buddy Grant Paulson right now and he'd tell us exactly what he'd be yelling about. But maybe we will. Maybe in a little while. All right. So we're going to start with Disco. Go ahead. Let me hear what your first thoughts about the offense were this week after you watched the game. What were your expectations and what did you get?
So, I actually was expecting what we've done in the past is overcorrect, meaning last week they took a lot of criticism for, putting Howell in tough positions with throwing the ball and not running the ball enough. So I thought we were going to overcorrect and come out first down run, second down run, third yard long in a cloud of dust. But I actually thought that Eric Bieniemy called a masterful game. That opening drive was probably one of the best that I've seen in Ron's tenure. I thought that there was a great mix. I thought again, I can't say enough about how bounced back. I like the fact that they got McLaurin involved early. And that's your best player. So offensively, again, I know we're like right there, and it's so frustrating that we bought. Clearly, he's an upgrade over Scott Turner. Yeah. And again, we didn't win, but we really did a good job against one of the best defenses in the league. And I got to take my hat off to the coach and the offensive line to a degree.
I'll tell you what, let me build on that a little bit and try to just go back a week to Buffalo dismantling us and destroying us. And the woe is me that we felt from that. Well, that was the NFC champion. And I mean, get it. It is an NFC East game, and those always come, they can go complete blowouts or they can be real slugfests the entire way. But Buffalo went ahead and dismantled the 70-point Miami Dolphins yesterday. They sacked Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah. Hey, I said that right the first time.
There you go.
And also in that Bills game, it was 16-0 going into the fourth quarter.
Yes, so it was. You're right. Absolutely
they didn't
right.
necessarily destroy us that
entire game. Yeah, exactly.
Great point.
Exactly. But okay, so I agree with everything you said right there. Keith, offensively, what were your impressions? What did you expect and what did you see?
I expected a balanced game, and I think that's what we saw between run and pass.
Let me ask you this. When you say a balanced game, is it a well-balanced game, and does that include Count Chocula?
So stupid.
I'm so stupid. It's a valid question.
I don't even know how to follow up with that. Like, I can't even. You just ruined
such
my
a child.
You ruined it.
If you were here, I would just push you.
Right.
What was the question?
The question was, what were your impressions of the offense and what were your expectations going in?
Yeah, so back to the whole balance thing. I wanted to see more of a balanced pass. I mean, it looked like we were really pass heavy in the Bills game. Look.
Oh, God.
Oh, the Eagles.
Give her a moment, Keith. Give her a moment.
Thank her for shaving for us, please.
He said, "Thanks for shaving for us."
Hey,
Babe,
she's
goodbye.
a Jersey girl. You never know, man. You got to be careful.
Well, you're right. So what was I saying?
You were talking about the offense. What you thought you were going to
The
get?
balance.
Offense. Yeah.
So Buffalo, EB got a lot of criticism for the amount of passing that Sam Howell was doing. So I wanted to see a little bit more balance. Obviously, our run was successful against the Bills. I wasn't sure if it was going to be as successful or could be successful against the Eagles front. But I wanted to see a more balanced offense. I think that we got that. And what the surprising to me is Sam Howell just balled out that entire game. The entire game. And I mean, what an absolute comeback from an abysmal game, having 4 interceptions. You're coming into Philadelphia. Those fans are not quiet fans. That is
no fear whatsoever. No fear.
Those fans have no fear. And let me tell you, when they played against Tampa in Raymond James Stadium in Tampa on TV, you could hear those fans chanting that Eagles chant that they do, and it was extremely loud on TV. It's intimidating. The fan base is intimidating. The team being 3-0 is intimidating. So, for us to put up the performance that we did, I know I'm giving moral accolades here, and I'm not trying to,
that's all right.
but I didn't expect to see this type of game and was extremely pleased to see what I saw.
Now I'm gonna preface this just for a moment before I throw it over to Jesse for his impressions. But for those of you with small children or heart conditions, please be careful because Jesse's going to show a little optimism, I think, and I don't know if anybody can handle that. What did you think, Jesse? What do you think?
I don't think anybody on this panel expected us to
elevated
to come in and win this game.
Wow, we get 15 viewers a week, and all of a sudden we're a panel.
A panel. We are. A panel.
None of us expected to win. I don't think if you're a Washington fan, especially as what we saw last week, we wanted to see progress, and I think we went from we got more than we were expecting, and I think that just goes to show what a competitor, a level-headed kid Sam Howell is, and a lot of credit goes to Eric Bieniemy for he did not call a good game last week. We touched on that. We beat that dead horse.
Can we give the Bills some credit though? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, we've
a lot of stuff.
We've given the Bills their flowers, man. To me, they look like the team in the AFC.
Sure, absolutely.
They always do every season early, and then they're
looking a hell of a lot better than the Kansas City Chiefs right now. But I'm just saying,
that white in your beard. Stick up with me when I tell you this. They've been like that forever. We've watched them lose Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl.
That's true. But I honestly think this is the Bills' year. When not to get off on the Commanders, but when the Bills go in and play Miami, who just put up 70 points, albeit against the Denver Broncos. And for Miami to only score 20 and Bills just basically wiped the floor with them. That is the Super Bowl favorite, I think, in the AFC right now. To a game, we go from the Bills to another NFC or the NFC between, I guess, them and the 49ers and go toe-to-toe, go into overtime, was never out of the game, was actually up by – we were up by 10 points. You have to be – excited about the future of this team right now. And everybody wants to give shit to the defense. No, they did not play their best. There's some areas that got to be to work on, but we're going into a section of our schedule right now where I think the defense can grow some confidence, albeit playing Justin Fields and Ritter. Hopefully it's Ritter and not Heineke, because if it's Heineke, I have a feeling that Heineke's going to do stupid Heineke things. And
you're with a black cat walked in front of me.
Yeah. But I think maybe these next few games, the defense can get a little bit of confidence. And if Sam Howell can just continue that progression that he's on, it's something that we all should be excited for.
Scott, do you see Sam Howell having any more problematic games as bad as the Buffalo Bills, or do you figure that he's going to be crowned king of the world by the end of next week?
No, I don't. I expect him to have a few more hiccups like he had against the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely. That is part and parcel of being a rookie quarterback. You're going to get games where we've said it on many episode here that it is going to happen at times. I mean, what I expected from the game, I mean, same as last week is what I expected. I expected the same sort of, 2-for-1 throw in. I wanted a 70-30 B-Rob kind of game similar to what we had last time in Philly. And I thought yesterday it was at times comfortable. And I know I've never had that before where I've looked and thought,
you were confident. You felt confident.
Yeah, I did. I thought every time Sam possessed the ball, I thought, actually, he's getting the ball out quickly. This is what we wanted to see. Mm-hmm. This is him, he's hitting Terry. He's hitting B-Rob. B-Rob's running through. We're getting further and further up the field. And then it's the poise. We've said this before. He's poised in the pocket and his movement and his feet have come on leaps and bounds in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Eric Bieniemy clearly had a word with himself and looked in the mirror and thought that wasn't good enough against the Buffalo Bills. And I listened to his press conference in the week and he was open and said, it was on me. I wasn't good enough. And then when you're saying to yourself, I'm not good enough and I've effed up here, it's time to put it right. He put it right and I thought he called a masterful game. It's the best play calling I've seen in a long, long time.
I agree.
He avoided several sacks with his feet this game.
He did.
He did indeed.
He had a good sense in the pocket. And I also like the fact that he also, once he got through his progression 1, 2, 3, 4, he took it and run. That was his one of his reads was to get it down and run when you don't see anything open, and he did. I thought that was smart. I will nitpick one thing about the play calling is that the run to the right isn't working. That sweep to the right just ain't working whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So why do we call it like 7 or 8 times? I didn't know.
We're setting something else up. Joe Gibbs
all
the time.
One other thing I was impressed with Sam Howell was the way that he was stepping up through the pocket as well now. Mm-hmm. There's times yesterday where he stepped forward and he instead of going, I'm going to bail out, which he tends to do, he's gone forward up into that pocket, and that was encouraging to see. But we're going to have to wait. We're not going to crown him king now. We're just going to have to wait. I want to see it over another 13 games until you can say, yeah, we got our guy. But I'm confident.
All right,
we don't have to crown him king by any means. But I'll tell you, living where I'm living and the people that interact with me on Twitter. Eagles fans are talking about Sam Howell, and even after that Buffalo game, not a single person was like, oh, man, your guy sucks. They all understood that a rookie guy like this – no, not rookie. We all know, but you get what I'm saying. Rookie guy like this is going to make those kinds of mistakes. And then for him to have – even watching the local news, the news even said positive things about this guy. Like, people are on notice. And the thing is he's gaining respect – from the league, and that's what I want him to continue to keep doing. And not that I care if he gets other fan base respect, but instead of being clowned on about our team being sorry around all the people that I am, the first thing they're saying to me is, what a game, and you guys might have yourselves a quarterback. And listen, I know that's a moral accolade here, but man, the last time we heard that was, Kirk Cousins, and then behind him, RG3. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not handing Hall of Fame keys out by any means, but when you can have national media, local media here to Philadelphia, and then all different types of fan bases saying positive things, that's when I know we're on the right direction with this guy.
The local media in Philly, they said, and I quote, "Hey, that Sam Howell guy, he ain't bad, yo. Let's go over to Vinny with the weather."
That's pretty
They're
good.
not from New York, John.
Philly, they have a bit of a.
That's a little Jersey. But it's good. It was good. That was good, though. That was good.
Right. Okay, so I had all kinds of ideas of things to talk about today, but I'll be damned if I can remember any of them because I get so doggone busy sometimes during the day. I swear, I'm overworked and underpaid.
So let me know when it's my turn to talk about.
Please go right ahead. Let's go ahead. Let's bring up the defense. Give me your first impressions on the defense.
Okay, the defense, and I can't say they were shitty. I think the defense. I have a major issue with the defense, and here's why.
Got to be better.
Yeah,
we put all of our resources onto the defensive side of the ball. We keep hearing all this talk about 4 first-round picks. Jamin Davis, first round pick, Fadarian Mathis, second round pick, Quan Martin, second round pick, Emmanuel Forbes, first round pick. So to me, they have no excuses, none.
Right.
This is year 4 in Jack Del Rio's system, and most of the players are returning. It's not like they got a whole bunch of rookies. Now, I'm not bashing any players or anything like that. What I am saying is they'll probably feast on the Bears and the Cardinals but this is the year where you need to go out and be able to execute against elite offensive lines.
Right.
The defense gets no pass from me. They are underwhelming. They underachieved. And I will go as far to say this. If they continue down this path, then I would expect a fire sale at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
that very well may be.
Wow.
I got a piece of video. I don't know if y'all saw this. It was real quick. It was in the middle of the game. I think it was like the middle of the third quarter, but they caught Jack Del Rio over on the sidelines. And maybe you can explain this.
There was a stunt by Washington in Philadelphia.
What the hell is he doing?
Jesus Christ, John.
Do you work during the day?
Yeah, man, I work hard during the day too. I just have a collection of the goofiest crap you could possibly have. Keith, what did you think of the defense?
Yeah, I mean, I echo and agree with everything that Disco said. Listen, in the beginning of the game, when I'm seeing Chase Young dropping back in coverage twice.
What the hell was that? Their first drive.
It's a fire zone. It's a fire zone play. There's a lot of teams that do it, but it's.
I don't care what it is.
Don't act like it's reasonable.
That's what it is. It's a fire zone blitz.
Chase Young just ain't that guy to be doing that, and it was proven after those 2 plays. But regardless, listen, I knew that they were going to attack Forbes. Philly's got elite wide receivers with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, so I was expecting some trouble with the rookie in that situation, and unfortunately that trouble was shown. But I am going to look at this because I really do like Forbes. I think Forbes is going to add a lot to our backfield.
He's going to be fine. He's going to be
fine, and he's going to take this. He's going to watch film. It's going to learn. It's going to be a learning experience from him. Look, Devonta Smith is nothing to mess with. You know what I'm saying? And so very good film for him to watch, and I look forward to his progression. However, giving up that touchdown was an absolute killer to me. Jack Del Rio, like I said, we just mentioned him. Jack Del Rio, not really. It just did not seem like that we were blitzing much this game. The front was stopping the run, but they weren't really creating that much pressure. Again, overrunning. There was an opportunity. To get a sack, but we overrun on Hurts. Look, it's just. To me, it just was very lackluster, unexciting whatsoever.
They did pressure a couple times.
They had 14 pressures. That's not bad.
They blitzed.
They just didn't go home.
But Del Rio, he likes to blitz from like 30 yards away. You see this dude coming from it's almost like he needs an air traffic controller guiding him in. Come on.
I wasn't happy. Yeah, I wasn't happy. It seemed like we gave the receivers a lot of cushion on the lineup as well. There were just a lot of things. Yeah, those were a lot of things that I saw where, Philly, I think they were trying to avoid deep plays, but at the same time, Philly was taking that opportunity and chopping, small ones at us and just, we're getting their first downs in that sense. And it just, it's a tough situation, but looking at the defense, there was nothing about it that excited me whatsoever. Cody Barton out there running around looking stupid per usual. Gave up a big play in the middle of the field. Like, it's just, they got to clean that up in order for us to be competitive, because I don't want to go toe-to-toe with teams, man. I want to outright beat them.
I don't mind toe-to-toe with the champs. I'll say that. I don't mind.
No, toe-to-toe with the champs is good, but if we can avoid that, then let's avoid that. At one point, it was what, 17-7? Am I right? Wrong on that score?
Yeah, and to that point, remember all we kept hearing is the defense never plays with a lead. And the defense never has a lead. We had a 10-point lead on the road. There you go.
That third quarter really, really hurt us. Third
quarter was awful.
Right. Going into this game, before this game, Philly was running over everybody. I think Swift had like almost 7 yards per carry. We held him. The game plan was the game plan was to stop the run, and that was, they wanted Hurts to beat them in the air, and which they did eventually. But their game plan was to stop the run, and they did an okay job at that. I mean, we held Swift for like 3.2 yards a carry, which no team has done that before, because he's been carving everybody up. He got one good touchdown when that stunt that John Allen and Chase Young did, and left a gaping hole, which one of the two, and I'm going to put that on Chase, I guess, played it wrong. And that's how Swift got the touchdown. But for overall, I thought we did a great job of stopping the run. The problem is Jalen Hurts. He got hot and killed us in the air, and
they got mismatches.
Yeah,
they got. I think there was some late coverages coming over the top.
And that's what we just talked about in the bunker. I think Derek Forrest played his worst game as a Washington man. He was out of position on multiple times. He was supposed to. You saw him a couple of times be late and help with Emmanuel Forbes. So I think Emmanuel Forbes, the numbers against him look a lot worse than what they should have been if Forrest, did his responsibilities. The safety play this year, and I got to say, this goes with Cam Curl too, as much as I hate to say it, hasn't been the greatest, man. It really has not been the greatest. It's been very disappointing.
Can I add to that, Jesse?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I just want to say I love Cam Curl, right?
Me too.
I think what we've seen as fans, we overhype him though, because I don't think the nation knows who Cam Curl is.
I don't know if we do. He's deserved the hype that he's gotten. That dude
he hasn't shown it this year.
This year he's been kind of a little bit back.
He has not shown it this year, and he started off slow last year as well. I banged on him last year, but he brought it on towards the middle and the end of the season, so I laid off.
How much of that has to do with the linebacker play that's up in front of him? And I'm going to bring that over to Scott, because he's been sitting there so patient and nice.
Thanks, dude.
Why do they keep Jamin Davis off the field on third downs? Why don't they put that speed and that thump on the field and spy?
I don't know, John. I keep hearing that he's having a great season. He's playing really well, and that is right in what you see on the film. Yeah. And when you watch it, your eyes don't lie, most of the time. And then, your eyes can lie. I get that, but he's played really well this season, and I just think Cody Barton is a disaster waiting to happen. One other thing, this defense, I think you've all nailed it, and you've definitely said exactly how I feel about it. Look, if you look on the side of your milk carton, you're probably going to see a picture of Montez Sweat, because that boy is missing.
He is.
Where has he gone? Call 911 if you get a sighting of him, because my word, he has gone. Apart from maybe a little bit of the Denver game, the Arizona game, he did show up, and I thought, hey, this is it. Montez Sweat wants that bag. He's going to be the next Deron Payne. You know how Payne went out and smashed it. Where's he gone?
I don't want to hear that Lane Johnson's a good right tackle.
Exactly.
Right tackle, right?
Where's John Allen yesterday? He didn't show up.
So
he did not show up, John Allen. And when you've got all this, as Disco said, when you've got all this capital in the draft on this front, on this line, and in the defense, not just to show up.
Our back end of the draft have been safeties, cornerbacks.
Correct.
So anyway, you brought up Cody Barton, and I belong to this NFL. I don't know what they call it, NFL Next Gen. Anyway, it gives you some awesome shit. And I got this camera angle. They've got a little camera in quarterbacks' helmets now. And this is from Jalen Hurts.
They empty it out. Washington shows pressure and brings it. Hurts over the middle. Has Smith back into field goal range.
There's Cody Barton on the blitz right there.
Dear.
Actually, I think this is Cody Barton.
Quick hitter over the middle. Lamb's got a first down.
My fault. That one was Cole Holcomb. I'm sorry. He was getting dragged by CeeDee Lamb. Hang on, here's another one.
Stumps over to Cooper. Inside the 20. Down.
So that's Cole Holcomb again. I just can't tell the difference. It's my fault.
But I'm starting to wonder, though. I'm really wondering, though. because all we've talked about is how awful the linebackers are. Is it the linebacker or is it the scheme? I mean, look, I'm not a Cody Barton apologist, but the kid is transitioning into a new system.
Right.
You see how long it's taken Jamin Davis. All the linebackers we had can't be that sorry. I got to think it's got to be.
That's a fair point.
Well,
It is actually, to be honest.
It was what was it? Ben Standing put up something today about Cody Barton and Jamin Davis and how Jamin Davis played. So I said, okay, so why is he always coming out on third down? And how is it that this Cody Barton, who really is just a jar of mayonnaise and cleats, how the hell he has come from someplace else into this brand new system, and he knows it so well that he's on the field 100% of the time calling the snaps.
Good point.
That's what is it with Jamin? Why is Jamin not picking this up? This
Isn't it mad that you're missing mid in Cole Holcomb? I mean, who'd have thought that?
I think I had one. This was Cody Barton on another. That's my fault.
Don't give him the Bostic. Don't give him the Bostic.
Sorry.
That's terrible.
Dude, we've just now said his name 3 times. We better be careful. They're going to sign him by Thursday. All right. So why don't we get into some head smacks and some butt pats here? We might as well do that. I hope you brought your rubber gloves. Good discount. I guess I should turn things up when I do these kinds of things. All right. So we'll start here. We'll go clockwise. Jesse, who's your first offensive butt pat of the day?
Yeah, you got to give it to Sam Howell. I mean, I know that's the obvious, but just the way that the kid just has, I think he's got ice in his veins, man. Nothing gets to him. He's calm, cool, and collective. He had the worst game that any quarterback could have last week, and turn around and put together. Yes, he only had 290 yards, but and 1 touchdown, but no interceptions. He was on point. Gave the receivers time to get yards after the catch, and was very efficient. And you got to give him a good old butt pat for that.
There you go. All right, Scotty, who's your first offensive butt pat of the day?
I'll take the low hanging fruit, John. Terry McLaurin. Unbelievable.
That's not the
when
butt
you need
pat,
the man
that's
to
the
show
other
up. Attaboy. There you go. When you need him to show up, he showed up. So yeah, that's for me. Terry McLaurin.
All right, Disco. You know how this goes, right? Who's your butt pat for the day?
So I'm going to go off the grid a little bit and say Curtis Samuel. It's time that we start giving Curtis Samuel some credit. Yep. Everybody said when we got him, he was frail and and he couldn't stay healthy. Let's give Curtis Samuel some love.
I want to point to somebody that did too. Right there.
I did.
Right.
I thought yesterday, I was watching him yesterday. They're short passes. He doesn't go very far, but damn if they're not clutch. Yeah. And I think that touchdown, that little handoff was so sharp, man. He could still be going. Every Philadelphia Eagle was looking east, and he was going west, and that was just as sweet as could be. So, yeah, good one. Keith, who's your first offensive butt pat of the day?
Man, I hate to do this, but we've been banging on these guys, I feel like, since the season started. But I'm going to go ahead and hand them out to the offensive line. Part of the reason why I'll do so is because for the first 3 games, Jalen Carter has been an absolute monster against these other teams, and I did not hear his name called much in this game yesterday. So, butt pat to the line.
Other than the announcers to praise him, they have Jalen Carter. He's been so good. Yeah,
they talked about him a lot, but I didn't hear his name. He did make some plays.
Fletcher Cox had a big a sack on Cosme. But other than that, I thought the offensive line held up pretty damn well, especially compared to the last few games. I'm with
every Eagles game I've watched. It's all they do is talk about Jalen Carter, and so for me to not hear his name as much yesterday, butt pat goes to the O-line.
I'm going to drill it down a little bit more, and I'm going to just give it to Sadiq Charles because the dude's playing his ass off. He's playing his ass off, and I am so glad to be so wrong about what I thought about Sadiq Charles. I was so ready to just dump him in the river and be done with it. And man, that dude is a freaking fighter. He's a warrior. And his comments in the locker room after the game solidifies it even more for me. When they asked him what he thought about what was going on, he said we expected to win all the way up until the moment that we didn't.
Yeah, they were pissed. They were pissed that they lost the game, and I appreciate that as a fan. And just to give a bonus butt pat, Eric Bieniemy deserves one too.
Yes, he did.
Attaboy.
He called a great game.
Eric Bieniemy.
He did.
Yeah.
I got two more.
Okay, you got two more. Go ahead.
I got Brian Robinson. Have to give him it.
Attaboy.
He was great again.
Touchdown run was good.
Really, really good. And then Disco, have you got anyone else on offense? Oh, we've lost you.
You on? Oh, he's on mute.
No. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Brian Robinson too.
All right,
Yeah,
that's cool.
Attaboy.
All right, then I got one
Brian
more.
Robinson. He was on my fantasy squad. Got me a touchdown.
Go
Then
ahead.
I got
Okay.
one more. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Antonio Gibson. Even though he
Attaboy.
fumbled, he didn't lose it.
Yes, he dribbled.
Nah,
So
I'm not having that.
he dribbled.
Let me make a running back point. I'm a huge Brian Robinson fan, but
Me
Me
too.
too.
if some of the holes that he's running, the Commanders do not have a Breece Hall. They don't have a home run back. I'd like to think that some of those holes that Brian Robinson would run through for 10, 12 yards, those are touchdowns, perhaps with another back. I just want to throw that out.
Maybe.
Well, I think
maybe
that
you're right.
they thought that Antonio Gibson could be that home run back, and I think that what we're seeing out of Brian Robinson is exactly what he is. But unfortunately, we have the situations that we do with Gibson, and so Brian Robinson's kind of taken over that number one role at this point.
Robinson should be the number one back, and I've long felt, even last year, I was thinking, man, we had a lot of good runs where he'd get 8 yards, he'd get in the middle of that scrum, and they would just play bully ball and shove it down the field for about 6 or 7, 8 yards.
He just keeps moving his feet. Like, I can't love this guy any more than I do because you just don't see that in the league anymore. And so to see the old school way of how we ran the ball in today's game, it brightens my heart, man. That's why I love it.
As big as
paraplegics in the league, it hasn't been the same, and we all know that. But
as big as Brian Robinson is, he gets small in those holes too. He can get small and just goes, man.
Well, the thing I was going to say about it is during those scrums last year, I kept thinking, man, there's daylight. If he could just see it and take that step to the right or to the left, and instead of running right up the back of those guys and shoving, which is great, you're getting 6 or 7 yards. But man, one step to the left or the right, and that 6 or 7 yards turns into 20, 25. And I'd love to see him. He's starting to hit that second level cut this year. I've started to see him see it. I want to see him get outside of everybody without all the traffic that's been around his feet and see if he can outrun somebody in the end zone. I really do want to see that.
He's got to take care of the ball, though.
Yeah. Take care of that ball.
He's been, he got a couple back, but I'm worried.
Yeah, we got lucky yesterday with Terry jumping on one in the end zone. That was nice. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna echo on that.
Attaboy.
And he's getting he's gonna get a double from me because Terry McLaurin, dude, not just the play on the field, but everything about him, man. Everything about him. I've been watching this team a long time. And there are only a few players that you can elevate to the status that I think he's getting to of, man, that dude is our team through and through. He's already a Ring of Famer.
Because he gets it. He gets it. And he not only gets it on the field, he gets it off the field.
He's a leader in every respect.
My 7-year-old who had no idea really who he was, all it took was that 30-second moment at training camp for him to literally look my son in his eyes and have a conversation with him and sign his football. All of a sudden, my kid is a Terry fan. And then when I bring my kids to a game, he knows who number 17 is. Yeah. And yesterday's game, when the big plays were happening, my son was actually in the front room watching it. And hearing him cheer and yell out Terry's name, like, man, I thank you.
I think he's going to when it, and I was thinking this yesterday. I don't think he's going to play as long as he did. I think he might be the second most revered receiver after Art Monk.
Shoo, that's a big one. That's a big one. He's nearing Santana Moss level for me.
I mean,
he's achieved with the quarterbacks that he's had since he's been in the league.
Oh yeah.
But Santana Moss wasn't the face of the organization.
No, you're right.
Like Terry is,
right.
And Terry, you feel for him because he plays so damn hard, and sitting in his locker room yesterday, he was still in his pads. when the reporters came in, and he had tears in his eyes because he was so upset that they lost that game. And I think that's just fuel to the fire for the weeks to come.
I'll build on something that Keith said there real quick. I've been raising kids for a long time. I'm done raising kids now, thank goodness. But when I was coming up when my stepson was coming up, Cal Ripken was his hero. And when you've got a guy like Terry or like Cal Ripken, by the way, who plays for my World Series bound Baltimore Orioles, when you've got a guy like
Go
that,
get on the Orioles podcast. We don't care.
He's completely respectable. Those are the kinds of, because no matter what, no matter how anybody likes to say so, kids do look up to athletes, and you want to pick one that's got the values that a guy like Terry McLaurin espouses, not only in his field play, his off the field demeanor, his leadership. I think he's fantastic. I'm just in love with this guy.
Best thing that's ever happened to this team.
Not really.
In a long time.
He's getting there.
In a long time.
And if you remember, Jay Gruden drafted him to be a special teams.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because Dwayne Haskins told him to do it.
Yeah.
All right, head smacks. We're getting off the track.
All right, so offensive head smacks. Go ahead, Jesse. Who's your first?
I'm gonna. He made up for it, but I'm gonna say Jahan Dotson. That crucial third down drop right in his hands. You just can't have that. That would have sustained the drive and possibly gotten points. But it was a perfect pass, perfect play call, perfect placement. And Jahan he dropped it, so he gets my head smack. Don't got many of them, but that's
that
one
look on his face in the replay when the ball went through his hands was like, oh my God, I can't believe I dropped it. Scotty, who's your first head smack of the day on offense?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to go off, as Jesse just said. I mean, I'm going to go probably Cosme, his worst game of the season so far. He got bullied at times a lot.
Okay, Disco, about you?
I'm going Andrew Wiley simply because he had the holding call and the false start back to back, and I think that had implications. I think we might have been close to scoring in the red zone when those penalties.
Yeah, I think they were in field goal range. I think. Yeah.
How about you, Keith?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to head smack. I'm going to head smack EB for calling that second Logan Thomas.
Good call. Yeah, that was dumb. That was dumb play.
That's for you, EB. And I'll tell you that there's nothing left that I can head smack on. They ran up 31 points on the NFC champs. This is the second time we scored 31 or 30 points this year. That's that equals our 2020 our 2021 and 2022 30-point output. And if we get it one more time this year, that will bring 2019 into it. If we get 5 games over, then that's total of how many games over 30 points that we've gotten going all the way back to 2018. So the fact that we're putting these kinds of points up tells me I'm not too concerned about the offense pretty much anywhere right now, because we've seen that they can adjust. The offensive line, PU, everybody, they stink. Well, they adjusted well enough to give Sam some clean pockets on Sunday and against the defending champions. So I'm not giving any head smacks to anybody on the offense, except for maybe a little crack for that stupid call at fourth. At the goal line. It was fucking stupid. All right, not at the goal line, but you know what I'm talking about. The same one, Keith.
Run to defense. Time
to the defense. Go ahead. What, Pat? Jesse, go ahead.
I'll give one to Chase Young. He's the one that's been showing up lately on the defense. Yeah, he's been out of position a time or two, but he looks like he's the one that's going after the contract. Unlike Montez Sweat, in my opinion, he's showing up. He's got multiple pressures, multiple quarterback hits, multiple hurries, and he's now got 3.5 sacks on the year. So. My butt pat goes to Chase Young.
Attaboy. Scotty, how about you?
Yeah, Kendall Fuller. He's having a great season. No matter what, he's out of contract in the summer. I want to see this guy back. You guys said, he'll move on. No, not for me. I want him back. He's having a Pro Bowl season. I hope he just keeps going. He had a very good game yesterday again. So Kendall Fuller, well done.
All right, Disco, what about you? Butt pats on defense.
It's tough,
man. I guess you know what? I think Kendall Fuller also, because I think he's very underrated. and he's pushing almost 30. So I give it to Kendall Fuller.
Attaboy. All right, Keith, which overly broad generalization are you going to pick?
Well, I was actually going to pick Kendall Fuller only because he got beat up on in the beginning, but he turned up the heat towards the end, and that was appreciative. And that's really a stretch for me, to be honest. I don't think that there's really. I mean, I could maybe, just to be different, I could give one to Jamin Davis. I thought that he made a couple plays that
he did. He did.
That were crucial. So appreciate it, Jamin, because last year I didn't hear your name much at all.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and give you an oddball one. I'm going to go ahead and give one to Emmanuel Forbes. Attaboy. Even though he had a horrible game and they picked on him mercilessly, it was for
some really good plays too, though.
It wasn't even for anything he did on the field. It was what I saw from him on the bench. He was pissed. He was upset with himself. He expects much better of himself. And for that, I'm glad you're on the team. Look, man, A.J. Brown is going to have his way with cornerbacks all damn year. I like that he jawed with A.J. Brown. I like that he wasn't afraid of A.J. Brown. He ultimately lost, and I didn't think A.J. Brown should have got a 15-yard penalty for giving him the ball, but that's just me. I liked it.
By the letter of the law, that is taunting.
Well, by the letter of the law, I suppose, but
the ref knew that they were jawing all game. So when that happened, clear as day. But if they were jawing all game, that might not have gotten called.
I would have said, nah, I'm not throwing a flag on that if I was the ref. I'm like, yeah, you guys have been doing it all day. All right, so, okay, who do we got for head smacks? Jesse, who's your defensive head smack of the day?
Where to begin? I'm going to go with Jack Del Rio. I got to scheme up better, even though it was your poison type of deal with teams like these. If you either sell out to stop the run or sell out to stop the pass. And shit like that happens. So,
Jack Del Rio. I wish I could make that echo because his head is empty. Go ahead, Scotty. What do you got?
Yeah, I got Derek Forrest. I like him a lot, Defo. I think he's a great player. He was nowhere to be seen again. Send out a search by because he was missing as well. And he gave no help or protection to Emmanuel Forbes. If you're going to put Brown on Forbes, where is the safety cover coming across? There was none. Right. Zero.
What about you, Disco? Who's your head smack of the day on defense?
Oh, this is going to give my attaboy, but I can also give him a head smack, Chase Young, because the only reason I like the kid, but he does not hustle to the ball the way that I think that he should. If you look at when he doesn't get there, he doesn't hustle to the ball that I think in the manner which I think he should.
Is that maybe a conditioning thing since he missed so much of camp?
It could be, but the tenacity, I don't see the tenacity that I saw. So, but maybe he'll get it back. I'm hopeful.
Okay. Let me ask you this, since we're doing head smacks, and I do believe you are an educator in the PG County school system.
Anne Arundel.
Okay. I came through the PG County school system way back in the day, and we didn't smack anybody in the head, but we cracked everybody right on the back of the neck as hard as we could.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. See if we could turn that neck red if we could. All right. Keith, who's your defensive head smack for the day?
Man, the easy one would say Forbes, but I'm going to cut the slack. Montez Sweat, where you at, bro?
He got out of here. Yeah, I know. Where is he? I don't see him. No.
They say he only shows up when we play bad teams. He hasn't proven us wrong yet.
That's anybody on the defense almost.
Yeah. So far, So far. I'm going to try to maybe give Jonathan Allen a bit of a pass. He's playing with plantar fasciitis, and I know that shit is painful, especially.
I know, but if he's on the field, he needs to make plays, and Jonathan Allen has not. He hasn't showed up in the stat sheet either. So
I think they're suffering from their rotation when they get Obata back, and
Obata is eligible to come back. So if they're suffering rotation, why isn't he back yet? And so is Darian Mathis.
I thought it was after week 4 that they could.
No, it's week 3.
Is this week? And Ridgeway if you go back and look, Ridgeway's snaps are way down.
Yeah.
He hasn't been so hot this year.
Abdullah Anderson's the one who's covering most of the time. From the middle, and actually, again, I didn't bring him up as a butt pat, but again, he's productive when he's actually in the very few slaps that he gets. Abdullah Anderson, he makes a difference. And I never thought bottom of the roster depth chart guy was going to make a difference like that. So
I don't know if we're going to have another pod before.
Hang on a minute. I got to give my head smack to the defense, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to Cody Barton. For no other reason than you're on the goddamn field too much, dude. And when I saw him chasing after that running back who caught that pass in the flat and running across the field like that, I thought I saw John Bostic. I thought I saw Cole Holcomb. All I saw was another one of our linebackers trailing like a motherfucker, praying like hell he could catch up. And I just get tired of that, man. I don't know what it is. I've said it before on this show that I don't understand what Jack Del Rio sees in these guys. Hey, God dang right, boy, you're slow and you wear a cowboy hat. Don't you come over here and play for me. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. So we're going to go ahead and give one more to Jack Del Rio because, dude, you got to get out of your old ass ways and figure out a freaking modern defense to be able to use these guys to their extent of their abilities against top teams. Because this shit about going in there and whipping up on the Broncos, dude, I don't know if you noticed, but the fucking Bears were whipping up on the Broncos
until they lost.
And they proved that they were the worst team in the football, in NFL football. But at the same time, they were still taking it to the Broncos.
Yeah. And Justin Fields was completing like 98% of his passes, had 400 yards and like 4 touchdowns or something like that before the meltdown. Listen, I don't know if we're going to have a show before Thursday's game, but this defense must come out firing on all cylinders on Thursday.
I will not be having a show on Thursday because I will be firing on all cylinders.
Oh, that's right. You will be. Yeah. You will be drinking your. I
have a
Miralax
Friday. So
your Miralax.
Yeah.
And he'll be using his tablet on the pot while.
That's right. Right. So all the tweets you see from me, guess where I am?
Just wash your hands.
Oh, of course. Of course. However, I will go ahead and I'll break the spell right now and let everybody know that I do have a modern household with a flush commode and I don't use my hands.
Okay.
So we'll be good with that. All right. So look, let's hope we beat the Bears. And let's not hope.
Wait. What did you say?
What?
You have,
I'm not going into that.
You have a duvet?
I have a flush commode and we don't use our hands. And I know that the guy from Southeast Jersey or Southeast freaking Virginia just went, what? You don't use your hands, huh? Good.
To flush? You don't like
what? I'm lost. Just move on.
That's fine. That's good. That's a good idea. All right. So yeah, we're gonna hope that we beat the Bears on Thursday night. I'll be having me a good time. Let's hope y'all are cheering right along with me.
All right.
Thanks, Disco. I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a blast, man. Thank you. Appreciate
it. And Disco, I want to give you a huge shout out, man. I've been following you for a long time on Twitter, and I absolutely love your tweets. They're logical tweets. They're never emotional. Man, I was excited when I heard you were coming on the show today.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I just try to bring some level-headedness, man.
Exactly.
No, you do. It's an absolute pleasure following you, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, right. Brother. Go see you next time.
Yeah.
Go Commanders. Oh, wait, I already hit it.
Yeah, I'm going to go continue my rabbit hole and try to solve the Biggie Smalls.
Yep. The Biggie Smalls.
What's the most random
Jessy,
thing
I was never aware that you were
on a rabbit hole.
Listen. Look, when like I said earlier, when they finally arrested Tupac's killer, I just went deep on it, man. I went deep on it, and it is a crazy, crazy situation. So I got files.
Is there any chance that Cody Barton's the murderer and we can get him out of our fucking locker room?
I'm not sure if he was born then, but you never know.
Too bad.
You never know. But I'm bound to do it.
All right. Well,
until next time, boys.
We will be back Friday for a post game, and I don't think we're going to be on after the game. So we'll see you Friday.
Maybe. I don't know. Andy said Burrow said he wanted to do it.
All right. Well,
off work.
We'll see.
So, yeah, why not?
Maybe we'll set something up. By then, I might be all dried out. I'll be able to go out.
What time start is it, gents, on Thursday?
It's 8:20.
Game 8:20.
8:20.
Yeah.
So like 3 o'clock.
1:20. 1:20 in the morning. So it's going to be about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Who needs
sleep? Punchy. All right, then. We'll see y'all on Friday with a big victory.